Hey, Jai Baba, guys. We're gonna first start with our December special we'll start with the prayers for now. So Soham and Meher, if you guys want to start saying the prayers.
Yeah, I'll start. O Parvatigar, the preserver and protector of all, you are without beginning and without end, non-dual, beyond comparison, and none can measure you. You are without color, without expression, without form, and without attributes. You are unlimited and unfathomable, beyond imagination and conception, eternal and imperishable. You are indivisible and none can see you but with eyes divine. You always were, you always are, and you always will be. You are everywhere, you're in everything, and you're also beyond everywhere and beyond everything. You're in the firmament and in the depths. You're manifest and unmanifest, on all planes and beyond all planes. You're in the three worlds and also beyond the three worlds. You're imperceptible and independent. You're the creator, the Lord of lords, the Lord of all minds and hearts. You're omnipotent and omnipresent. Knowledge infinite, power infinite, and bliss infinite. You are the ocean of knowledge, all-knowing, infinitely knowing, the knower of the past, the present, and the future, and your knowledge itself. You are all mercifully and eternally benevolent. You're the soul of souls, the one with infinite attributes. You're the trinity of truth, knowledge, and bliss. You're the source of truth, the ocean of love. You're the ancient one, the highest of the high. You are Prabhu and Parmeshwar. You're the beyond God and beyond God also. You're
You're Par Brahma.
You're Par.
Oh no. Sorry. You are. Yeah, Par Brahma. Sorry.
Prabhu and Parmeshwar. You're beyond God and beyond God also. You're Par Brahma, Allah, Yahi, Yazdan, Armadza, and God the Beloved. You're named Isa, the only one worthy of worship.
All right. Hey, Srinidhi. Srinidhi, do you want to read the repentance?
Sure. We repent, O God, most merciful, for all our sins, for we thought those false, unjust, or unclean, for every word spoken that ought not to have been spoken, and for every deed done that ought not to have been done. We repent for every deed and word and thought inspired by selfishness, and for every deed and word and thought inspired by hatred. We repent most especially for every lustful thought and every lustful action, for all lie, for all hypocrisy, for every promise given but not fulfilled, and for all slander and backbiting. Most especially also we repent for every action that's brought ruin to others, for every word and deed that has given others pain, and for every wish that pain should befall others. In your unbounded mercy, we ask you to forgive us, O God, most merciful, for all these sins committed by us, and to forgive us for our constant failures to think and speak and act according to your will.
Jai Baba, thank you. All right, so we got the last one.
Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more and more and more and still yet more till we become worthy of union with you. Help us all to hold fast to Baba's Daman in the very end. Avatar, your Baba Ki Jai.
Not in, till.
Till? Okay, my bad.
Hey, you know what I was thinking actually? We never sing the Aarti. We should start looking at
Aarti?
Any Aarti, like, Telugu, Gujarati, even the Australian. It would be nice, right? What do you think? Meher, don't you know one of the Aartis on the piano? I think we need to start incorporating a little bit of music into this.
Yeah.
All right, where's Sahana Soham?
She got out of the bathroom like 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
I don't know what she's doing.
Srinidhi, would you be willing to sing us an Aarti song?
I don't have a good voice.
Oh, that's not true. We sing with our heart. Okay, that's okay. So I need Sahana to join because she had something also prepared for today.
Okay.
Yeah, can you do you mind? Okay, so as you guys know, we're going to be talking a little bit about sorry, I forgot what I was. So we're going to be talking about, Christmas is coming up, right? And So I thought it would be interesting to kind of talk about why Christmas is celebrated, right? That's what I had kind of sent to everyone. I hope you guys had some time to look up some things. If not, we could kind of look up some things together. No full pressure there, right? For some of us who did not get a chance to do it, but I thought it would be really nice to learn about Jesus Christ. We also have, hopefully Cathy can join us today. She probably will be coming around 5. And then we will talk about, Jesus Christ and, Santa Claus, right? All the traditions that are related to Christmas. Give me 1 second, guys. So what do you guys think? Who wants to start off talking about Christmas? Or, yeah. And we have pin drop silence.
Well, Jesus Christ was born on Christmas Day, and I guess that's why it's called Christmas.
Okay, but do you know if, okay, so when is Christmas Day? I know it's a silly question.
December 25th.
Okay, but did you know, okay, first of all, who is Jesus Christ? Let's talk about that. Let's see how much you guys know. This is going to be an interactive section, you guys.
The messenger of God or something. God's messenger.
Okay. What else? What do you think? Who do you think Jesus Christ was, Meher?
I think he was like the avatar or something.
Okay, right? Because we have Zoroaster Rama, right? That song, or
Yeah.
the 7 names of God, you hear Christ, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Soham?
I think he's like the son of God. That's what he called himself when he.
Correct. Called himself the Son of God, but we know he was an avatar, right? So what is an avatar?
God.
A manifestation of God.
Okay. Anybody else?
Um,
Go ahead. Keep talking. I'm listening.
Similar to a prophet or something.
Repeat that.
I think he's similar to like a prophet.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to see if okay. All right. Sahana, you joined. What do you think an avatar is? Or who do you think Jesus Christ is?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Yes, you do. In your opinion, who do you think he is?
So I just want to share something. Basically,
Can you turn on your video, please? We'd like to see you.
yeah. So basically, I accidentally called, like, I don't know if Jesus is a god, because some kid told me that, oh, Mom, you're sharing your email.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I was trying to find pictures. Okay, let me first stop sharing. That's why it's not showing up on who's talking. Silly me, I forgot I was showing. Okay, now let's start. Go ahead, Sam.
So some kid got mad at me because I said, oh, like, because we were just talking about God, and like, yeah, so what's your God? And like, is your God Jesus? And like, and that kid just gave me a look, and like, and I'm like, wait, that's not your God? And I'm like, no, he's like, no, that's his son. Like, I'm like, then who do you worship? Like, do you worship? I don't know. I really don't know. So yeah. Bye.
Okay, but did you hear the earlier conversation when we said that you hear Jesus Christ's name in the 7 names of God, right?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so since nobody really knows, okay, do you know, like, how about this? I'm gonna actually, this is what I was trying to find for you guys so we could, there is let's see. Okay, I'm going to share this so one of us can read and learn a little bit about it, okay? This is thanks to Google. Okay, can you guys see it? No, not yet.
Well,
Now you can.
yeah, now I
you
can see.
right? Okay, so let's read a little bit about Jesus Christ. How many years ago? Meher, do you want to start us off?
I think 3,000 years ago.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
So it was.
It was she was born in the BCE.
So 2,000 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and he's also known as what? Jesus of Galilee or Nazareth. Do you know
Yeah.
where that is?
I think I'm not sure.
Guys, do you see, like, look at this. He was born in 6th BCE and then died 30th. So that's not many years, right? All right. Srinidhi, do you want to read a little bit about this?
Sure.
Actually, here, let's read here.
Although born in Bethlehem, according to Matthew and Luke, Jesus was a Galilean from Nazareth, a village near Sepphoris, one of the 2 major cities of Galilee. Tiberias was the other. He was born to Joseph and Mary sometime between 6 BCE and shortly before the death of Herod the Great. Matthew 2, Luke 1, 5.
That's where they're getting the information from. It's a part of the Bible. Okay.
Yeah, in 4 BCE. According to Matthew and Luke, however, Joseph was only legally his father. They report that Mary was a virgin when Jesus was conceived, and that she was found to be with child from the Holy Spirit. Joseph is said to have been a carpenter, that is, a craftsman who worked with his hands. And according to Mark, Jesus also became a carpenter.
Did you guys know about this?
No.
So this is, I don't know if you can see this clearly. So can you see this now a little better? Oh, now I'm making it smaller. So if you see this here, okay, so where's Galilee? There's Tiberias. And then he was born in this area right here, right? All right. Did you guys know anything about this at all? Oh, wait, now I went too far. See, he is, so they say son of Christ because he is believed to be, he called himself that, right? That he said he was the son of Christ. Christ is, son of God, my apologies. Okay, see, let's read about here. Okay, this is a much better one. After baptism, Soham, do you want to read this?
Wait, Mom, sorry to interrupt you, but then who's God?
God is
whatever
like
people
the
think, like
impersonal, the one in the universe.
Oh, okay.
That is, there are 3 types of, like, okay, there's the personal God and then the impersonal God, right? The personal God is the avatar, that who we can see, right? The manifest. Manifest means somebody who has manifested, right? Who has come down. So that's the personal God. And then the impersonal God is the one that we say he's everywhere and everything, right? Kind of in the Pravartigar prayer, right? Do you understand? Okay,
Kinda.
so let's read a little more about Jesus here. After baptism, Soham, go ahead.
After baptism, wait, 1 second. All right. After baptism, Jesus went into the Judean desert to fast and meditate for 40 days and nights.
Wait, who did that? Who else do you know who did 40 days and 40 nights?
Baba's dad.
Yeah, Shariarji. See, this is not a recent practice. This has been happening for over 2000 years. Okay, go ahead.
The temptation of Christ is chronicled in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, known as the synoptic gospel. The devil appeared and tempted Jesus 3 times, once to turn stone to bread, once to cast himself off a mountain where angels would save him, and once to offer him all the kingdoms in the world. All 3 times Jesus rejected the devil's temptation and sent of him. And sent.
Okay, keep reading.
Jesus returned to Galilee and made trips to neighboring villages. During this time, several people became his disciples. One of these was Mary Magdalene, who is first mentioned in the Gospel of Luke 8:1-3, and later in all 4 Gospels at the crucifixion. Though not mentioned in the context of the 12 disciples, she is considered to have been involved in Jesus's ministry from the beginning to the end of his death. According to the Gospels, Mark and John, Jesus appeared to Magdalene first after his resurrection. So I was my phone.
So what is the resurrection, right? That's when Easter is celebrated, right? The Christ has risen. Do you guys know that? You know what I'm thinking? I think we need to learn more about each avatar. I think it'd be a good idea. I see projects coming up in the new year. Okay, so what else? Srinidhi, do you want to read some, or Meher? Or actually, you know what? Let's give Sahana a turn. How about this, Sahana? How about we read a little more? Are you there? Right here. According to the gospel.
Can I not read? Like, I just don't want to.
Come on.
Please.
You need to participate. Read. It's only a small paragraph.
I don't really want to.
Okay. Anybody else?
Sahana, just do it. Just do
No,
it.
I'll read later.
Okay. Anybody else? Meher, Srinidhi, go ahead.
I can read. Jesus' ministry, right?
Yeah, right here, second paragraph.
Oh, okay. According to the Gospel of John, as Jesus was beginning his ministry, he and his disciples traveled with his mother, Mary, to a wedding at Cana in Galilee. The wedding host had to run out of wine, and Jesus' mother came to him for help. At first, Jesus refused to intervene, but then he relented and asked the servant to bring him large jars filled with water. He turned the water into wine of a higher quality than any served during the wedding. John's Gospel depicts the event as the first sign of Jesus' glory and his disciples' belief in him. I keep going?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. After the wedding, Jesus, his mother, Mary, and his disciples traveled to Jerusalem for Passover. At the temple, they saw money changers and merchants selling wares. In a rare display of anger, Jesus overturned the tables and a whip made of cords drove them out, declaring that his Father's house is not a house for merchants.
Yeah, see, so he kept calling God his father, right?
Yeah.
That's why he's called, the Son of God.
Mm-hmm.
See, so he kept, and I'm sure you guys have heard that, he helped cure the lepers, right? Have you heard those stories at all? Yeah, okay. So then he started doing some preaching, etc. And then so let's read this here. This is pretty cool. Srinidhi, do you want to read?
Sure. Less than a week later, Jesus took 3 of his disciples to a high mountain where they could pray alone. According to the synoptic gospels, Jesus' face began shining like the sun, and his entire body glowed with a white light. Then the prophets Elijah and Moses appeared, and Jesus talked to them. A bright cloud emerged around them, and a voice said, "This is my beloved son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." This event, known as the Transfiguration, is a pivotal moment in Christian theology. It supports the identity of Jesus as the Christ, the Son of the living God.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm. Should I continue?
Yeah, you know what? Let's kind of skip a little bit here and there because see, he used to like raise Lazarus from the dead, and there was a lot of miracles that he used to do. So right, and do you know why he was crucified?
Because like the Jews didn't believe in him or something.
They didn't believe he was the Son of God.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. Yeah. So do you know anything about the Last Supper?
There was a photo of it.
Yeah, there is a photo of it, right? Many of them actually.
Yeah.
All right, let's read a little bit about the Last Supper.
Should
Go
I?
ahead. Yeah, anybody. I'm not going to pick on people.
Jesus and his 12 disciples met for the Passover meal, and he gave them his final words of faith. He also foretold of his betrayal by one of the disciples and privately let Judas know it was he. Jesus told Peter that before a rooster crowed the next morning, he would have denied knowing Jesus 3 times. At the end of the meal, Jesus instituted that the Eucharist, which in the Christian religion signifies the covenant between God and humans.
Okay. Meher, do you want to read this paragraph?
After the Last Supper, Jesus and his disciples went to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray. Jesus asked God if this cup, the suffering and death, might pass by him. He implored a group of disciples to pray with him. But they kept falling asleep. Then the time had come. Soldiers and officials appeared, and Judas was with them. He gave Jesus a kiss on the cheek to identify him, and the soldiers arrested Jesus. One disciple tried to resist the arrest, brandished his sword, and cut the ear off one of the soldiers. But Jesus healed the soldier's wound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sahana, do you want to read now?
Come
on, participate.
Later.
All right.
I'm participating, but I have something planned, right? So that's how.
Yeah. That's something you can read. Hello, Jai Baba.
Hey, Baba, Dubai airport.
Oh, that's nice. We're learning about Jesus in this and Jesus Christ because Christmas is coming up. Okay, I guess I'll read. After his arrest, many of the disciples went into hiding. Jesus was taken to the high priest and interrogated. He was hit and spat upon for not responding. Meanwhile, Peter followed Jesus to the high priest's court. As he hid in the shadows, 3 house servants asked if one of Jesus' disciples, and each time he denied it. After each denial, a rooster crowed. Then Jesus was led out of the house and looked directly at Peter. Peter remembered how Jesus had told him he would deny him, and he wept bitterly. Judas, who was now watching from a distance, became distraught at his betrayal and attempted to return the 30 pieces of silver. The priest told him his guilt was his own. He threw the coins into the temple and later hanged himself. So one of Jesus's own disciples kind of gave him up, right? And said, oh, because they bribed him and said, okay, here, if you give us money, if we give you money, can you tell us who Jesus is? All right. So do you want to read the next part?
Sure. Wait, hold on. Can you just give me 1 second? I just need. Sorry. Okay. Okay. The next day. Oh wait. Is it right there?
Crucifixion?
The crucifixion? Okay. The next day, Jesus was taken to the high court where he was mocked, beaten, and condemned for claiming to be the Son of God. He was brought before Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of Judea. The priest accused Jesus of claiming to be the king of the Jews and asked that he be condemned to death. At first, Pilate tried to pass Jesus off to King Herod, but he was brought back, and Pilate told the Jewish priest that he could find no fault with Jesus. The priest reminded him that anyone who claimed to be king speaks against Caesar. Pilate publicly washed his hands of responsibility, yet ordered the crucifixion in response to demands of the crowd. The Roman soldiers whipped and beat Jesus, placed a crown of thorns on his head, and then led him off to Mount Calvary. Jesus was crucified with 2 thieves, one at his left and the other at his right. Above his head was a charge against him, King of the Jews. At his feet were his mother Mary and Mary Magdalene. The Gospels describe the various events that occurred during this last 3 hours of his life, including the taunting by the soldiers and the crowd, Jesus' agony and outbursts, and his final words. While Jesus was on the cross, the sky darkened, and immediately upon his death, an earthquake erupted, tearing the temple's curtain from top to bottom. A soldier confirmed his death by sticking a spear into his side, which produced only water. He was taken down from the cross and buried in a nearby tomb.
All right. Who wants to read the last paragraph?
I'll read.
Okay.
3 days after his death, Jesus' tomb was found empty. He had risen from the dead and appeared first to Mary Magdalene and then to his mother, Mary. They both informed the disciples who were hiding, and later Jesus appeared to them and told them not to be afraid. During this brief time, he beseeched his disciples to go into the world and preach the gospel to all humanity. After 40 days, Jesus led his disciples to Mount Olivet, east of Jerusalem. Jesus spoke his final words to them, saying that they would receive the power of the Holy Spirit before he was taken upward on a cloud and ascended into heaven.
All right. So I don't know how to, stop share. So what did you think of this, guys? Did you know in this whole story or parts of this story?
I've heard about his crucifixion. I've heard about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a pretty nice description, right?
Mhm.
So did you know that there's actually, Baba said that Jesus came to India and was buried in Kashmir. And there's a place that's called Harman, where Baba actually pointed out when he and his disciples went to Kashmir. And I think there's some people who actually have gone there on pilgrimage. Did you guys know about that? It's pretty cool, huh? Okay. So
You told me.
yeah, actually, while we speak, I'm going to see if I can look that up
I don't
on,
believe it. I don't think I believe it.
well, Baba said it's up to you whether you want to believe it or not.
Okay.
Okay, so there's something else that I want to talk to you guys about, right? So December 2nd is also one of the most very important days. Do you guys know what that is? Nobody?
I think I do. I'm sorry. The stupid mute button. What? Sorry. Stupid mute button. I think you explained it to me. It's either some accident, but something happened with Baba, or like, was it like, I forgot. You told me about it. I just forgot. Just remind me for a second. Or give me a hint.
So Baba had how many major accidents?
4.
Was it accident?
Was it 4 major accidents or 3 and 4? 2?
Yeah, 2.
Oh.
Yeah, one in Oklahoma and one in India.
Yeah, in Satara. So Baba had a major accident in Satara, India, and it was on December 2nd. Okay, so I have something prepared, but for those of you who want to know more about Jesus in Kashmir, if you Google it, there's a lot of information here. I can send you guys the link. I'll put it in the chat for everybody. Okay. So with that said, let's see, maybe we can go back and read it in a little bit later. So I want to talk about the, oh no, what did I do? Okay, sorry. I have some little information to share with you guys. Let's read a little bit. I put a quick PowerPoint together so you know about it. And it's called the Act of God. Okay. There. Okay. So I need a reader. Okay, Srinidhi, I'm going to pick on you.
Okay, the Satara accident. 2nd December 1956, the day of spilling Avatar's blood on the soil of India, as was done in every Avatar's advent. At Uttara village near Satara, as foretold by Meher Baba, self-imposed motor, second car accident, first car accident in 1952 in Oklahoma, America. In Urich driving on February
2nd December.
12th.
I know. In India, you put the day first.
Yeah. 2nd December 1956, Sunday at 5:15 p.m.
Oh, it's kind of interesting. Today is Sunday. Okay.
The whole right side of Baba's body, Baba's face, hip, shoulder were crushed. Left side of Baba's body and woman Mandali in the American accident. This time men Mandali were in accident. Dr. Neelu, a longtime discipline, lost his life in this accident in Baba's hands and merged in Baba as per his wish to Baba. Since a week before this incident, Baba asked Dr. Neelu to repeat Baba's name constantly. Urich and Pendo were very seriously injured with heavy fractures. At the time of the accident, as a lightning light had come from Baba, and Baba smiled as a sign of victory, not uttered a word in spite of his body crushing. After the accident, injured Baba and Mandali were taken to Satara Hospital for treatment. Baba was 62 years. Doctors told that he will never walk or move, but Baba walked and regained health.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? He actually came to the US after that. There's a little more information here. There's obviously, I'm trying to shorten it as much as possible because, there's also a video that I wanted to show you guys. But Meher, would you like to read this? And this is where I thought it was really interesting to tie Baba into, Christmas and the discussion on Christ, right? So go ahead, Meher.
On December
No, right here. The first one.
okay. Like Jesus, like Buddha, like Muhammad, when the avatar comes on earth to live amongst men, he too must suffer. He too must bleed.
So this gives you a lot more information on what happened on that day. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. On December 2nd, 1956, Baba had gone to Pune for a day. He was accompanied by Erich, Pendu, Vishnu, and Nilu, his Mandali members. At around 4:45 p.m. of the same day, while returning to Satara, Baba and his party were involved into a severe accident which occurred about 12 miles outside Satara. The car was running normally and at moderate speed when it seemed suddenly and unexpectedly to go completely out of control and dashed against a stone culvert, landing eventually in a ditch on the other side of it. Baba and his men were badly injured and were immediately hospitalized, except Nilu, who died without regaining consciousness. Dr. William Donkin, who attended to Baba, wrote in a report, minor abrasions,
Yeah.
abrasion, yeah,
You
and
need cuts.
and subcon and
Subcutaneous contusion.
continuous on the forehead, nose, and cheeks, a tear of the upper and lower surface of the tongue, stuttered,
Sutured.
a few hours after the accident.
Sutured means to get it stitched. When you
Oh,
get the
okay.
stitchers. Yep.
A few hours after the accident, and the upper rim of the
Acetabulum.
acetabulum had been fractured, the broken strip of bone being slightly displaced. Surgical attention is now concentrated on the treatment of the hip injury. Someone has asked Baba why, if he was the avatar, was he the victim of so severe an accident, and why he could not avert it. Baba replied, what the divine will has decreed must and will happen. And if I am the divine personification, you believe me to be, then the last thing I would do is to avert or avoid it.
So isn't that interesting, right? Like people can say that, hey, you're God, why do you have to suffer? Right? Because technically we think that God can change anything, but even he has to succumb to the divine will, right? So even the avatar is, we talk like you're gonna read a little further, right? And it talks about karma, or maybe we can ask Soham to read that part. But it's just interesting, right? Like sometimes we always think, oh, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? Or when we're suffering, right? And I'm sure you guys have those instances, right? When you have a tough time, or somebody's you fall down and you hurt yourself, or you're in a car accident, or God knows what, but it's all based on the divine will, right? So Soham, would you like to read the last paragraph?
Sure. Okay. It's kind of hard to see it on my phone, so I'm gonna try.
I can make it bigger.
All right. He had explained this earlier. People suffer for their karma. A few suffer for others. Perfect masters suffer for the universe. On
the persistent query.
On persistent query of Baba lovers, the world over inquiring of Baba's health, he said, it is as if the mental sufferings of the universe want to crush me, but the infinite bliss I experience and the love I have for all sustains me. and the love of all my lovers support me in the burden I carry.
So, what do you guys think? And all through this, not a single sound, right? Can you imagine? Okay, there is a video that I wanted to show you guys. Let me see. I think I have to start sharing again to do share sound. So it is about a 10-minute video, okay? It's in English. Can you hear it? Can you guys hear the video?
Correct.
We just hear.
On May 24th, 1952, while traveling
can't see
across
it,
the American continent from South Carolina to California, the 1952 Nash carrying Avatar Meher Baba was involved in a serious car accident in Oklahoma.
Oh, sorry.
Meher Baba injured the entire left side of his body, and his female disciples traveling with him suffered serious injuries. On December 2nd, 1956, while traveling from Pune to Satara on the Indian continent,
Oh, sorry, guys, sorry.
the 1952 Chevrolet carrying Avatar Meher Baba was involved in a serious car accident near Satara. Meher Baba injured the entire right side of his body, and his male disciples traveling with him also suffered serious injuries and death. This is the story of the second accident, which affected not only Meher Baba and those traveling with him, but all those close to him and the entire universe. In July of 1956, Meher Baba, along with his Mandali, returned to America and then Australia to visit his Western lovers there. Returning to the Myrtle Beach Center for the first time after his 1952 accident in Oklahoma, Baba gracefully walked the grounds of the center he established in 1948. Baba effortlessly flowed when he walked. He walked like a man without a worry or a care, and yet was still completely present in this world. After returning to India, Baba continued his seclusion and masked work in Satara, where Baba had been staying in the Grafton bungalow on and off since 1954. On November 29th, 1956, Baba told his Mandali that the last month of his year-long seclusion would hold greater suffering for himself and those close to him. Just 3 days later, on the pretext of going to watch a cricket match and to do some important work, Baba left Satara for Pune. Erich Jesawala describes the events of December 2nd, 1956.
So he said, summoned 2 or 3 of us and said, look, I want you all to accompany me on 2nd of December. We will do one thing. With one pebble, we will strike 2 birds. One is We'll go and see that good match, cricket match that is there. And the second thing is that I have got some very important work to do. And the important work is such, the importance of it is such that we should keep fast the full day on 2nd of December while we are there. And when we come back also we should not only fast means no food, but we should not even take water, not even a sip of water.
Returning from the cricket match, Baba told Erich to drive to Baba's house in Pune to drop his brother Jal off. Baba visited with his family and then asked his nephews Rustam and Saurabh, who were 11 years old at the time, to go and get their marbles to play a game.
Well, the story goes that Rustam and I were 11 years old in this house, and on that day before Baba went to Satara, Baba visited his family here in this house, his Baba house. That's his house, yeah? Rustam and I will never forget the way Baba walked through the lane with the Mangli following him with an umbrella, Jal holding an umbrella, he walking like a king, as if he was gliding in the air.
On December 2nd, Baba set out for Pune to watch a cricket match and do some important work. Baba and the Mandali watched the match at a distance from under the shade of a tree. Returning from the match, Baba stopped at his house in Pune to drop off his brother Jal. While there, he played a game of marbles with his nephews Rustam and Saurabh. Baba, going first, struck the glass marbles so hard that some of the marbles shattered into pieces. That was the end of the game, and Baba left to return to Satara.
This is the place where Baba's second accident happened in December of '56.
When the car carrying Baba and Vishnu arrived at the Grafton bungalow, Baba's sister Mani was the first to see Baba. Then Mani rushed to Rosewood to alert Dr. Donkin of Baba's accident. Bao Kalchuri, who was in Rosewood at the time of the accident, describes what took place next.
When the taxi was brought and Baba was brought there in the bungalow, then our Mani, I never saw her cycling. She came on cycling to Rosewood.
Baba went to see this cricket match in Pune, and we were expecting him about 6 or 6:30 evening, and at that time we see a car drive in, and Baba and Vishnu, and we just couldn't believe it that Baba had another accident.
Well, there are no accidents, you know, only God's will. Yeah, there are no accidents, you know, only God's will. A car crashed over in Satara, blood on the road. Our father's bones were broken, now you've been told.
Okay, guys. What did you think of that video? Is everybody there or sleeping?
It was good, Shilpa, but we couldn't see the video.
You couldn't? Why didn't you stop me? Oh no.
Oh, I know.
I told you. I literally told you
I
before.
know, Soham, but you told me just now. That's
Told you
weird.
before as well. So
But it was
Okay,
very
guys.
good.
All right. You know what I'm gonna do? Please, you should have stopped me from like.
I thought it was audio.
No,
Yeah, but it was
not
very good.
video. That's weird because okay. All right, guys. There was a beautiful, even like a cartoon of Baba, you know. Oh, I didn't see the chat. Oh my goodness. I apologize. So, okay, speak up next time and stop me. I sent you guys the video, but so essentially, this is what Baba did, right? Like he had to spill his blood in India again. You know, in between, actually, Soham came and shared a very interesting anecdote. If you want to share it again, Soham, that'll be awesome.
yeah. So basically, I was thinking, so if Jesus supposedly died in India and Baba was born exactly 2,000 years after, and they said the second coming of Christ was going to be 2,000 years after, then Baba is probably like the second coming of Christ. I don't know if I thought about that, but I just thought
So
about it.
like a reincarnation?
Yeah.
Avatars
like-
do not reincarnate, they come back.
As like a different person.
So,
Yeah.
okay, and also that's the link for Tomb of Jesus in India. So it's actually interesting, right? There is some information in, like, check out the link that I sent you guys, but there is some information where, do you want me to read it real quick? I know, Sahana, you had some things to share as well. Okay, I will since we're on the topic, right? So this is what Baba said. There's one secret about Jesus which Christians do not know. When Jesus was crucified, he did not die. He entered the state of nirvikalp samadhi, the I am God state without bodily consciousness. On the third day, he again became conscious of his body, and he traveled secretly in disguise eastward with some apostles to India. This was Jesus's resurrection. After reaching India, he traveled further east to Rangoon in Burma, where he remained for some time. He then went north to Kashmir, where he settled. When his work was finished on the earth, he dropped his body and entered Nirvikalp Samadhi permanently. Saints in India have verified these facts about Jesus' travels. Mankind will soon become aware of the true life of Jesus. And Baba said this 23rd August 1925 in Mehrabad. And this is in Lord Meher. So it's very interesting that Meher Baba back in 1925 stated that the mankind will soon become aware of the true life of Jesus. Other people from the East, such as Dr. Fida Hasnain, oh wow, that's a complicated name, Barshahat Salim, Sai Baba, Hazrat Mizra Ghulam Ahmad, all have made similar statements. So it's pretty cool, huh? But it says that if you read further, it says, unfortunately, this knowledge became lost for various reasons, not the least of which outside of church interference. For example, the original teachings of St. Thomas Christians of India, also known as Kerala Christians, did not include the idea that Jesus was the Son of God. Those teachings did not include the idea of virgin birth, and Mary not considered the mother of God. Portuguese coercion against St. Thomas Christians of India also accounted for the change in the original teachings, as Portuguese were determined to force St. Thomas Christians to adopt the doctrines of Western Christianity, specifically in their case, the doctrines of Roman Catholic Church. So because of the church, right, there was a lot of changes that occurred. So, it's interesting, right? And this is where some key information, pieces of information sometimes get lost. Okay, so what did you guys think? Interesting? Yeah, what are your
Great
thoughts?
information. Great.
Yeah. Thanks, Shilpa.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Thank you, Shailaja, for reminding me. Here in Dubai airport.
Thank you, Auntie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
The time confusion was there. Luckily, I could join.
Okay, hang on. Now I lost my stop screen sharing. Am I sharing screen? No, right? No. Okay. So Sahana, do you want me to go to your thing?
Yeah, you can do that, and then you can talk. I don't have to. It's okay.
No. I'm not gonna talk. This is your stuff.
It's fine.
No, it's not. I have no idea what you've put together.
Okay. I guess I'll talk.
Wait 1 second. Hang on. I have to share my screen. Now it's not letting me share. Oh,
It should be in your your slides, or like your yeah.
okay.
You just present. Just present.
How do I present?
You just click slideshow.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. It's about Christmas. So, what is Christmas to you guys? Like, one, how you kind of like celebrate it, or like, how you like. Sorry, my dog's playing with this toy in the background. So that's his favorite toy, Lizzie. So he absolutely adores it. So he was like squeaking it. So he's going around the house and he's squeaking it. Sorry for the background noise, but yeah. So like maybe like how you celebrate it, or like if you don't celebrate it, it's fine. If you do it for fun, like my family, we don't really celebrate it, but we just do it for fun. Like we have a Christmas tree up, we have like stockings and decorations and a bunch of lights. So. Because I definitely know this is my favorite holiday, because like I love the feeling of Christmas and I love the music. So yeah. Okay, let's watch the video.
Wait, what about the rest of them? Hi, Kathy. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Yeah, you kind of just went to the other slide, so I thought we were
Sorry,
moving
that
on.
was an accident.
No,
Okay.
you're fine.
Okay, how do you guys celebrate Christmas? Mahesh shaking his head, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah? Nidhi, what about you?
Yeah, we have like this small Christmas tree up, and we give each other presents.
Nice. All right. Should I click on it, Sahana?
Yeah, you go to the next slide.
When you think of Christmas, most think of Santa Claus.
You guys
Although
hear
the
it?
legendary character Santa is part of Christmas,
Hear
it
it?
hasn't always been like that. In fact, Santa Claus is a product of the
Mom, put
merging
it
of
full
your
screen.
Hang on. Can you hear it? Okay. I just want to make sure, because the last video, nobody could see it. And
European folklore, Christian and pagan traditions. And even nowadays, there is discussion whether he lives in Finland, Greenland, or somewhere on the North Pole. Yet to find out about the origins of Santa Claus, we must go much farther south, and much further back in time. So when and how did Santa become integral to Christmas celebrations, and how is he portrayed in different cultures? Although Santa Claus originated in the United States during the 18th century, he didn't suddenly appear. In fact, the jolly white-bearded old man that we have come to know as Santa was inspired by several European folklore characters that were sometimes centuries older. One of these legendary characters is Sinterklaas, and the eponymous celebration that is still ingrained in Dutch culture to this day. With the colonization of the American continent, many Dutchmen reached the New World to build up a new life. These Dutchmen took with them their traditions, and one of the most iconic traditions in the Netherlands is Sinterklaas. That doesn't mean that Dutch people don't celebrate Christmas. In fact, they celebrate both during December. It makes for quite a cozy but expensive month. Now, what are the origin stories of Sinterklaas and how did he become the inspiration for Santa Claus? Well, Sinterklaas originated in medieval Northern Europe. The celebrations were based on Saint Nicholas, a Greek bishop of Myra, present-day Turkey, that mainly lived during the 4th century. The name day of Saint Nicholas was on December 6th, with annual celebrations occurring on the evening of December 5th, with family get-togethers and exchanges of gifts. Saint Nicholas was known for his often anonymous charities such as giving money to the poor. Over time, this changed to parents giving gifts to children that had behaved well throughout the years. After centuries of celebrating this tradition, many things changed and were added. Saint Nicholas now owns a horse, Amerigo, with whom he walks over roofs. Another is his arrival from Spain instead of the actual place Saint Nicholas lived, namely Turkey. Yet the way he dressed and appeared remained mostly the same. To this day, he still wears a red mitre, bishop robes, and sports a long white beard. So we can already distill some aspects which inspired modern-day Santa Claus. Yet there was one problem with Saint Nicholas if you look at the trajectory of European history. He was a Catholic saint, and during the Reformation of the 16th and 17th centuries, Catholic celebrations were banned from large parts of Northern Europe that embraced the Reformation, including the Dutch Republic. Although Sinterklaas was, in theory, prohibited, private celebrations continued, and a perfect example of this is Jan Steen's late 17th century painting, The Feast of St. Nicholas, clearly indicating that at the time it was still celebrated in household circles. Yet sources also suggest that in Calvinist territories of the Holy Roman Empire, the celebrations were simply moved to Christmas Eve instead of December 5th. As such, these celebrations slowly started to merge with Christmas celebrations already. Subsequently, during the 17th century in England, the mythical figure of Father Christmas came to be. Just like Sinterklaas, Father Christmas was an old man with a long white beard handing out presents to children that behaved well. In contrast to Sinterklaas, he resided on the North Pole and wasn't a stern old man, but a jolly one. The next couple of decades, this character spread to France as Père Noël and Spain as Papa Noël. Having looked at the traditions of Sinterklaas and Father Christmas, it is relatively easy to see how Santa Claus came to be in the United States. When the migration of British and Dutch colonists gained traction to the New World, both traditions started to mix over the centuries. The first official record of Santa Claus, which is the Americanization of Sinterklaas, was in December 1773 in the Rivington's Gazette. This Santa Claus too delivered presents via chimneys, yet his outward appearance, a jolly old man in a red snowsuit, was based on Father Christmas. And as time progressed, Santa Claus developed his own traditions. 1821 was the first time Santa Claus was described as having a reindeer in the anonymous poem Old Santa Claus, with much delight. The anonymous publication of A Visit from St. Nicholas, better known as The Night Before Christmas, 2 years later, did not just reiterate Santa having reindeer, but became the primary source of how Santa has been portrayed from then on up until today. Yet Rudolph, the most famous reindeer of Santa Claus, has only existed since 1939. Robert L. May wrote the story featuring Rudolph and his bright red nose. The 1949 song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer hit #1 on the Billboard Pop Singles chart that same year. Until the 1980s, it remained the best-selling record of all time. It is theorized Santa's 8 flying reindeer were inspired by Norse mythology, specifically by Odin's 8-legged horse Sleipnir. This too is a similarity with Sinterklaas and his horse traveling over roofs from chimney to chimney. As for Odin himself, he is often portrayed with a long white beard, broad hat and red cloak. Funnily enough, it was the 1930s Coca-Cola campaign that popularized Santa Claus even more. Up until then, Santa was occasionally depicted as a normal-built man, like St. Nicholas. In 1863, the cartoonist Thomas Nast portrayed him as a heavier man for the first time in his drawing, A Christmas Furlough. It resembled the English Father Christmas's usual depiction and it became rather popular. Yet, Nast's most famous drawing was his Merry Old Santa Claus from Harper's Weekly, January 1881 edition. To this day, this drawing resembles Santa Claus as we know him today. So, over time, Santa was increasingly portrayed as a chubby and plump man, until the 1930s Coca-Cola campaign cemented the image of a jolly bearded red suit wearing
I think
older
you
man.
could kind of like stop it here.
This
unless you guys
drawing
wanna
by
watch
Haddon
the rest.
Sundblom of 19...
If you guys wanna, you could stop it. It's fine. I'm just gonna talk about Coca-Cola the rest of the video. So.
Hang on. Okay.
When you think of Christmas, most think of Santa Claus, although the legendary...
He doesn't want to stop.
Yeah, you have to kind of like go to the next slide.
Trying. So guess what, guys? I have a story to share. I used to live in the Netherlands when I was Sahana's age, from 11 to about almost 14. And we in the Netherlands used to celebrate Sinterklaas, right? And he would bring so he would come on December 6th and and he'd come actually all the way from Africa, okay? And Sahana, I'm gonna stop sharing screen for once, okay? And he would bring what his elves, so to speak, were called Zwarte Piets, which were his helpers. And then what he would really bring was in a little bag, these little things called pepernootjes, which are essentially gingerbread cookies. Okay, Sana, do you remember making them? I think last year or the year before. And they're really, really tiny, like really.
Yeah, like kind of like snickerdoodles, but with more.
Yeah, sorry, snickerdoodles. And they're gingery, and that was my memory of it. And yes, they do celebrate Christmas as well, but really December 6th is the bigger celebration in the Netherlands. Anyway, so Sahana, do you have any more, sweetheart? Or I want to give
yeah, you just quickly check, and then if like the two last slides I just saved, but you don't have to show that. They're just Christmas emojis. I don't know.
Oh, okay, nice.
So, but then there's like a world map, and that shows like kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, but we could stop it there.
Okay. So I stopped sharing. Oh, sorry, I thought I was sharing screen. Should I go back and show them? I'm having.
If you want to.
Okay. I actually do want to give Cathy some time since she's come here. Cathy, welcome here back to, our Tween Sahavas. We're really happy to have you here. Before you came, as discussed earlier, we spoke about Christ. We also spoke about Satara accident, and Soham came up with a very, his intuitive and thought process on how, since Baba had said Christ was buried in India, and it's the second coming of the Christ that Baba was born in India. So guys, Cathy is here. She's going to share some amazing stories, and she's also here to talk a little bit about Tom's new book. So we're really happy to have you here, guys. And if you guys can please turn on your video, Soham, Sahana, Srinidhi, that'll be great, so she gets to see people, not blank boxes. Thank you. All right, welcome back, Cathy. You have to go off mute.
Thank you. It's a real treat to
Jai
see
Baba,
everybody.
Cathy.
Jai Baba.
Hi, Cathy.
We're in Dubai.
Oh,
Going back to India. Yeah.
what's that? What did you say? I'm sorry.
They're on their way back to India, so she's calling from Dubai.
Oh, from Dubai. Oh my God. Did you go see the games?
No, they were
No,
coming
no.
back from the US last night.
Okay.
Yep.
No. Okay.
Safe
Now,
travels.
bye to everyone. Bye to everyone.
Bye.
Okay.
Safe travels.
Bye, Auntie. Happy journey.
Thank you. Thank you, ma. Just leaving. Yes.
Oh, you're leaving now? Okay, safe travel.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, what a treat. So, bye. So I am so happy that Shilpa asked me to share a little from Tom's book, which is coming out. And I know some of you.
Video.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Some of you met Tom and had some good laughs with him. So that was good. And this is what the cover of his book is going to look like. More Light, An Artist's Life with Meher Baba. There is his painting of him meeting Baba. It's so beautiful. And the book is we're hoping the book is coming out in a couple of weeks. So let's hope that Santa Claus will bring bring me boxes of books. And Shilpa remembered some of the funny stories that Tom would share, which some of you might have heard, that when Tom was little, he was raised in the Christian tradition, Roman Catholic tradition, and he would, let's see, he loved Jesus so much from what he read or what the priest would read, but he didn't like all the rituals of the bells and stand up and sit down and, the incense and all what he felt were extraneous parts of the worship service. And he just would try to feign illness so that he wouldn't have to go to church. And he also he got in a lot of trouble. So should I read the story about how Tom got in trouble in school?
Sure.
Okay. So he went to school in a one-room schoolhouse. I don't know if there are any of those left around here, but all 8 grades were all together in one huge room, and the teacher had to keep everybody busy. So he was supposed to be studying, and all he wanted to do was look out the window across the pasture to this beautiful little river, and he would see Jesus waving at him. He would imagine that Jesus was waving. One entire wall of this school building was filled with large windows, which looked out upon a broad pasture, a rushing creek, and a steep hillside. Above and beyond was the Catholic Church. How well I remember that schoolroom, and how fulfilling it was for me to contemplate through the huge windows the beauty beyond the pasture toward the steep and wooded hillside. So often I was caught up in the visual contemplation of such wonderment. Here's a picture of we found of that school, of that building. I don't know if you can see it, but that building is actually still there. It's turned into a town center for Kingston. But we went there and they had a historic picture of this building from the 40s. As I gazed out from my schoolroom window, enchanted with the beauty of this landscape, I would easily imagine seeing Jesus himself standing under the trees. He would be at the edge of the rushing little stream, waving at me and smiling at me as he beckoned me to come and join him. How often thoughts of Jesus entranced me and created a sustained longing to be with him. But these distractions caused me serious hardship when my teacher, Miss Ruby Cure, clearly observing the absence of focus upon my studies, would call out, "Thomas, you are not obeying me. You are not studying. Go stand in the corner." She would then place a dunce cap on my head. So I don't know if any of you know what a dunce cap is. Do you have that in India, that old-fashioned way of disciplining children? I don't think so anymore. But back then, she would make him, just because she thought he wasn't paying attention. Well, he wasn't paying attention to his studies. He was seeing Jesus waving at him. So she'd make him go stand in the corner, and she put this big cone-shaped dunce cap on his head so that he would feel very embarrassed. Yeah, oh, look. See, that's the way they used to make children. He would make children obey by shaming them by putting this dunce cap on there. Oh my golly, look at that. I don't know if there was a D, but it would be a way to shame the students into obeying. But isn't that amazing that what he was really doing was thinking of Jesus and seeing Jesus wave? So the other story that Shilpa remembered was when Tom was in his teens. they were starting to call up the boys, the teenage boys, for the Korean War. There was a war brewing, and all these boys had to go to Albany from Woodstock, about 2 hours away, and they were trying to recruit these boys for the Korean War. Is there time to tell that story, or do you need to do some other things? I could, do that another time if you want. You may need to wrap things up.
I'm sorry, I'm talking with my mute button. We have time. Go ahead, Cathy.
Okay. So, what happened once they got to this big medical complex in Albany? All the boys were brought inside, and there was an alarming situation that awaited us. As we entered this immense open space interior, we encountered innumerable nurses and female nurses, all walking between the boys who were asked to stand in line, and a man in a uniform ordered us at once to remove every article of clothing. As soon as this was done, we were handed a paper shopping bag for all of our clothing, and I thought, why hadn't we been told to bring a bath towel? This is embarrassing. Then, with further instruction, we were asked to proceed to different areas for the beginning of our physical examinations. This proved very traumatic for all of us, as female nurses surrounded us everywhere. Fortunately, the shopping bag helped a little bit for concealment as these nurses made their way in and out of our lineups. So can you imagine being like 17 or 18 and standing there naked and hanging onto your bag so that these nurses wouldn't see you? So a full 2.5 hours were taken up with a variety of physical exams. Shortly after completion, still entirely naked, I was directed to a broad desk of a uniformed Army major. With my exam results before him, he says, "Well, Tom, it seems that you are in quite good physical shape. Let me ask you, Tom, how do you feel about going into the Army?" I said, "I don't like the idea at all." "Why do you say that, Tom?" I had an older brother who was very anti-war, and also Jesus had talked about violence and killing being wrong. I said, Jesus has said us that we should love one another. So the words of Christ in the New Testament had made a deep impression. I added, I don't like the idea of going into the Army. I don't like the idea. Killing is wrong. The major said, is that so? Tom, have you seen the psychiatrist? I said I had not. Then, pointing to the balcony at the far end of an interior of this huge complex, he said, "Do you see those double oak doors and the boys waiting? You go and get on that line and you talk to the psychiatrist, Dr. Shapiro." Keep in mind, we were all completely naked. I joined the boys just outside the closed door. Every boy was very nervous. As I stood there, the boy just ahead of me was trying to cover his private parts as the female nurses walked in and out of the line. I then was called in after the boy ahead of me went into the room. I was told to sit in a big oak armchair, and Dr. Shapiro said right away, "Was there something that troubled you about going into the army, Tom, right away, I said to the psychiatrist how Jesus Christ had influenced my life. I responded that I was devoted to Jesus Christ, and there must be a way other than killing to resolve conflicts that might lead to war. The solution lay for humanity to try to love and understand and follow the ways of Jesus Christ and what he said about love and service. The doctor was writing furiously. Unhesitatingly, I went on to say that I believed that Jesus would return someday. Let me say that none of the people in my family really talked about this, but I had this feeling that I would meet Jesus. And I said to the psychiatrist that since I had been a child, I was convinced that Jesus would come back because he had said this in the New Testament. I believed that that was going to soon take place and I would physically meet Jesus Christ. Now, the psychiatrist was not smiling. His eyes focused upon me with his pen in his hand. Are you saying, Tom, you believe you will see Jesus just as you see me standing before you? I said, yes, I do. He wrote my responses with great seriousness. What will Jesus look like, Tom? Will he resemble the traditional image of Jesus with the small beard, the mustache, the long hair? I don't know, I said, but I know I will recognize him. Will he speak Hebrew, Aramaic? I don't know, I said, but I know I will understand him. Remembering my second grade class when I would look out and see Jesus waving was filling my mind as he asked, when he comes back, could you define what your relationship with him could be? I was saying that I knew only that I would meet him and that his love would fill my soul. He was listening and writing, but now he said, Tom, looking very troubled, you go to your draft board in 10 days and they will tell you about whether you are going into the army. In 10 days, I went to the draft board in Kingston, giving the man behind the counter my name. I asked if a response had come from Albany concerning my draft status. He went to a filing cabinet and returned with a card saying, Tom, they're not going to be calling you. He handed me the card. Written on it was typed out, schizoid personality, severe. Severe was heavily underlined with pencil. I never heard from the draft board again. So
I love this story because I think how amazing, Baba took care of Tom and his beliefs, right? And stuff like that. So
yeah. And Tom, I didn't read the last few sentences, but Tom said that Baba really saved him because a number of his close friends were drafted into the Korean War, and two of his really close friends were killed in the Korean War. And Tom said he felt he wasn't karmically destined to leave his life at that time. Baba saved his life.
That's beautiful, Cathy. Thank you. What do you guys think of the stories? Meher, Srinidhi. So
I guess it really shows how much Tom was feeling I guess Jesus' presence.
Yeah. Meher, he told me once when he was, how old are you?
12.
12. Okay. So when he was 6, 7, 8, and he would see Jesus waving, he said he also really would remember the stories about how Jesus suffered so much, like Baba also suffered in different avatars. And he said when he was little, it would preoccupy his mind so much that he would sometimes go off behind a tree and just weep because he was thinking about poor Jesus and how he was crucified and how he was whipped and how he suffered so much so that all of us could be better people. So,
Yeah.
I'm glad. Thank you for what you said. That meant a lot to me.
In reality, Baba and Jesus are like kind of like they kind of have similar traits.
Yeah. Is that Sahana?
Yeah.
Oh, where are you, my dear? I'd love to see you. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. Where are you? I don't know. Do I see you?
I'm right here.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think you're really right. They did have very similar traits.
I have a picture of Baba. I don't know if you guys can see, but this looks so much like Jesus to me, And I've always had it at my desk at home. When I was working from home, in between my two monitors, I would stick it there. In fact, I have like 3 pictures of Baba surrounding me. There's one that Sahana drew, and then there's another painting. And I don't know, like there were times, and it's funny because Baba would come in to my Zoom sessions, even though I had the background, like if I'm standing, they'd be like, who is that guy behind you? And I'm like, oh no, that's not a guy, that's a painting, because it's a side profile of here, you can see this one there.
Oh yeah.
But for some reason, even though I had the background as blur and they could only see me, Baba would come into the picture or into the video. So it was the most interesting conversations I've had. They're like, who's that guy? I'm like, no, that's a painting. Oh, and they're just kind of like, but there were times where I feel, if I was in the middle of something and I was stuck and I'm like, okay, Baba, help me out. And I'd be looking at his pictures or paintings and just talking to him, and he would really help me out. So, yeah.
And that those early photos of Baba looking like Jesus, Tom said when he first saw his first photo of Baba when he was 23 in Woodstock, he recognized something, it looked like Jesus to him. And he later read that Baba said when the avatar comes back again, he always looks very much like himself, like he always looks the same, so that we can recognize him when we come back lifetime after lifetime, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he always looks the same. It's very touching that Baba will do that so that we remember, oh yes, I've seen him before.
Yeah. Srinidhi and Soham, would you like to say something?
I thought it was really interesting how he had such a strong connection to God at a young age. It was really it kind of made me, think about if people are still like that, because people kind of drift away from God as they get older. So if you have a connection from a young age, it definitely stuck with him.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you had a very strong connection with the divine, whoever you thought about. I don't know. I think when we're young, don't we all have that? I think we do.
I think, like Soham said, I think we might drift away, but it never leaves us. And even now as an adult, I feel there are moments where I feel like, oh my God, am I drifting? And then he pulls you in again. It's like
Santa Claus,
right? Like what Baba plays hide and seek with you.
It's kind of like the belief of Santa. I believe in Santa, even though my cousin who says everything and tells me everything.
That was me. I told you that Santa was.
No. You told Ian, and then Ian told me. He's like, yeah, I have to tell you something that I just found out. And I'm like,
okay, let's not ruin it for the other people.
No, but he's real. He's real, okay? He was
Saint Nicholas. We just read about him.
Yeah, he's real. So, yeah. And if you don't believe in him, if you ever have if people are kids now and they have kids when they're older, it's not fun to spoil it for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes like my friend tells me whenever her mom's not at her, she's like, guess who gives you all those presents? Santa doesn't. I do. And she's like, wait, so there's no Santa? And they're like, yeah, there's no Santa. So that kind of got ruined for her. So yeah. But it's kind of like Santa Claus. Like sometimes they dress away, but like.
But see, that's like saying that, like when Rama or Krishna came, that's like saying, well, they're not here, but they're always there in the universe, right? So it doesn't take away from the fact that this person existed and is within your, the spirit.
Whoever giving gifts are all Santas. Baba give through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all. There's the secret is in that. Love you all.
What about you, Srinidhi? What did you think of today? Did you learn anything new? I mean, it's always great to have Cathy here, but
Yeah, it was like when Cathy was telling the story, it was like it wasn't boring. Like sometimes when people tell stories, it can get like really boring. And I didn't drift away. I like understood everything.
Well, I'm glad you said that because we're trying to get her back in January. So we're gonna figure out a day with you, Cathy, and we're gonna see if we can get Cathy and another guest perhaps together, or maybe by themselves. But I know we're a little over time, but I just wanted to dedicate this time, and it's really cool because you guys learned. I also learned a lot about Jesus. I feel like today, there's so many things and so many inferences, right? Like that between Baba and Jesus. So the connections, and like Cathy said, they might look the same, every time the Advent comes. But yeah, I hope you guys also learned something. Look at that, beautiful.
This is the first photo that Tom ever saw of Baba.
Oh, it's
when he was 23 in Woodstock on the front of a pamphlet. And I don't know how many of you know, do you know Preeti Kilnani and her dad? Well, the first time Vinod came to visit with Preeti and her family when he was staying here from India, he said that was one of his favorite pictures. And then he told this wonderful story. He said Baba was selling one of his cars, and Vinod's dad wanted to buy the car from Baba, and Baba agreed because somebody gave Baba a newer car. So this picture was on the dashboard of Baba's own car. So God's own car had this picture on it. And Vinod said that his dad said, Baba, I want to buy the car under one condition: you leave that photo of Baba, of yourself, in the car, because I love that. And Baba, he found out that Baba said, yes, of course, that's good. That this was one of Baba's favorite photos of himself.
We love it.
So it's nice to, and of course, to me, it does look like Jesus in a way,
Yeah. Thank you, Cathy.
Thank you so much, Cathy. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of December. I know this will be the last time before we go and come back in January that we're all meeting. So happy holidays. And, I hope everyone has a great Christmas and a very peaceful and joyful, holiday season. And we'll figure out a time and a day in January. Probably, I'm thinking, the third weekish, just to kind of get everybody back into the school mode and things happening. So yeah.
And I just wanted to say that for anybody who wants, soon, Tom's book is going to come out soon.
I think I've reserved my copy with you. Yeah. Did you write my name down?
Yes, I did. Oh, it's so great to see you, everybody. Really, it's a treat.
Yes, it really is. Treat us ours as well. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
We got to
Where
see.
is Shireen? Is she around?
Yeah, she is around, but yeah, she's busy.
Okay, we'll send her love. And your younger sister, Srinidhi, is she around?
She actually went to my cousin's friend's house.
Okay, we'll send her love too. Love to all the people I know who aren't here.
Yeah, yeah.
Kathy.
And Shalaja and all just recently moved into a new place. So
Where did you move?
It's in Farmington, Farmington, Connecticut.
Connecticut?
Mm.
So, but you were in Connecticut before, yes?
Right. It's
Yeah.
just very close to the old house. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, good. Well,
lots of celebrations this month.
I hope everybody's playing their musical instruments.
Yeah.
Some of us willingly, some of us
Oh,
not.
good. Okay. So
But have a great rest of the holiday season, guys. Jai Meher Baba.
Jai
You know
Meher
what?
Baba.
Let's end with Jai Baba 3 times. How about that?
Okay. Yeah.
Avatar Meher Baba
Ki Jai.
Avatar Meher
Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Jai.
Avatar
Avatar
Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Jai Baba, everyone. Love
Jai
to
Baba. Bye.
happy
The
holidays.
slideshow was good and the story was good.
Yes, and happy Meher Mas.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
But mom, did you? Never mind. Bye.